And for the hog side, we did have that quarterly hogs and pigs report, and obviously numbers came in very close to what the average trade was looking for. One point we're going to talk about, though, is this breeding herd, the fact that we only came in about a 3% drop compared to last year. Keep in mind, look at these previous 3 quarters were all lower in terms of percent, and these are compared with previous year levels. What's interesting about this 3% drop on a breeding herd is once you factor in the fact that each breeding animal is more productive each and every year. In fact, over the past few years, you're looking at about a 2 to, in fact, 4.5% growth in terms of the past 3 years. So even though we might have a breeding herd 3% smaller, they're only going to put out about a 1%, in fact, maybe a 0.5% lower pork production number. And in fact, based on the intentions part of the report, where producers talk about what they plan to do in the future, we're actually have some higher numbers plugged in. So right now, the way it's plugged in for 2010 pork production, here's the 2010 and the red bars right here. The next 2 quarters, looking at some more moderate numbers, about a 3% drop, then about a 2% drop. However, for 2011, based on what they told us for their future plans in that report, we're actually going to see numbers very close to last year for the first quarter and actually flip to an expansion by the second quarter of next year. So near term, this market is still showing you low hog supplies. These are great numbers. These are exciting times as far as supply. However, the good times are going to come to an end by the end of this year, and we'll start looking at expansion by the end of next year. In terms of the cattle, just briefly, I just want to point out that the fact we're in a clear downtrend as far as cash cattle prices, and last week we traded steady. This week we might trade steady again here at this 91 price, and we're going to drop down. Maybe by mid-July we'll get a cash cattle bottom. However, we do think that these futures are right by saying by the end of August we'll be back on the seasonal upswing in cattle. So for hogs right now, our key point is watching this 2011 contracts. In fact, we may start adding some hedges here this week for the later 2010 and maybe even some early 2011 contracts. And for cattle right now, we don't have any problem with the way these futures are priced for the August contract. It already has our downside plugged in that we like here. Let's take a look at what Monica's got from the charts, and we'll see if we're looking at